Okay, everybody, so I found out something that I've always been wondering, and that is why it is that Quinn actually left into the Badlands. Let's talk about it coming up. How is everybody? Welcome to all the newcomers to Dark Side Reviews. This is a place where we talk TV, movies, and film, and all kinds of streaming and comic book content, all that kind of good stuff. It is home of the best community on YouTube. If I do say so myself, you guys are awesome Darksiders, and you know how much I love you. Freeze. All right, so this is really important to say. You have to watch this whole video because I'm going to propose to you an idea as to how Quinn could have stayed in this show and the fantasticness that would have happened if he had. So, I read an article from Screen Rant that talked about the reason that Quinn actually left into the Badlands, which is something that a lot of us may have been wondering because we had gotten no real official word as to why he left. And when you think about Quinn's character, see man, this is gonna get me upset because it's gonna make me mad that the show is no longer on because it's utter foolishness that they canceled the show. What's wrong with people? Why has no one picked this amazing show up? I'm just saying. So, a lot of people were wondering what happened with Quinn. Why did Quinn leave the show? I mean, he was such a polarizing character. You know that, like, Quinn was one of the most fascinating characters that we have seen on TV, to me, almost at any show. When you're talking about a villain with so many complexities, with so many intricacies, they did such a perfect job of making Quinn someone that you absolutely love to hate. And to see him go was heart-wrenching. And for a lot of people, and let me know if you really felt this way, be honest, just drop it in the comments. Did you think when Quinn left the show, like, oh snap, like who's going to replace him? Who could they bring in that could remotely even fill his shoes? He was like such a big hole left in the show. I wondered that. I wonder how they were going to replace the dude. So here's what I found out from the Screen Rant article, that they actually moved Quinn out of the show to move the story forward. They wanted to focus on the Dark Gift, and they wanted to focus on Azura, and Quinn's character is kind of a main or quintessential villain of the show, wasn't doing that. So they had to move him out to progress the show and move the show forward, and we know the Pilgrim comes in, and then the show is able to help focus on not only the Dark Gift, but Azura as well, and expand the whole story of ITB beyond the Badlands. So that's one of the things that I think the Pilgrim does really well in coming into the show. He does give the show a little more depth of story, and he does kind of expand the world more. We do know that the world does expand. We do know that Sunny experiences a bit of life outside of the Badlands, but it still doesn't have the depth of story when we talk about weaving in like what's going on with the Dark Gift, what's going on with this Azura place that we keep hearing about. Well, Pilgrim comes in and he focuses the story on those aspects, and then the story moves forward through season 3. So I see the value of bringing Pilgrim in, and I do think that Pilgrim was a really strong replacement for Quinn. If you want to call him a replacement for Quinn, how do you guys feel about that? Because I don't really classify Pilgrim as a replacement for Quinn. I just classify him as someone coming in and really moving the story forward and giving us someone else very interesting to look at. Someone with some mystery, someone with some skills, someone with some traits that are very similar to Quinn's in the sense of him being a dominant leader, but at the same time very different than Quinn. So he's not really a replacement, I would say, for Quinn. But he comes in and he's interesting enough because there's so much mystery surrounding him, and we're all intrigued, right, with what's going on with the Dark Gift, with what's going on with Azura, and all the different theories. You guys know, like if you see the playlist for ITB on this channel, we've got tons and tons of theory videos. And we were all trying to figure it out. So Quinn does a good job. Pilgrim does a good job of coming in and kind of focusing us on Azura and the Dark Gift. But I was still sad to see Quinn go. And honestly, I don't know how you feel about this. I would have loved to see how Quinn would have dealt with Pilgrim. Well, think about that. Think about if you would have got these two dudes face to face. Man, it would have been so fascinating to see how he would have dealt with Pilgrim's character. Man, I would have loved to have seen that. So from that standpoint, I would have loved to have seen Quinn continue on the show and really see how he would have dealt with the threat of Pilgrim, because that would have been major drama right there, because you know Quinn's not going down. He's not going to lay down. So then when you take that aspect, if you kept Quinn in the show and you add the widow Love that girl, man. Emily Beecham. Woo! I like her. But when you add her into the mix, it would have really made for a compelling story. So there is a part of me that thinks that they could have kept Quinn in the story and just went ahead and expanded things while leaving him in part of the narrative. I'm not sure how they would have written that in without him being kind of like the main protagonist. But
Antagonist, you
What?
moron. Protagonist.
No, don't call me a moron.
Jeez.
We talked about this. I'm human. I can make mistakes. Do I have to be perfect? Shoot, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the name calling. Oh. Nah, that was nothing at all. Let's just keep going. I certainly could have seen it being him being like a quintessential part of the struggle for the Badlands between kind of like those dominant three with the Widow, with Quinn, and with Pilgrim. And I don't think it would have necessarily changed the trajectory of Sunny's story. I actually think that it really would have made Sunny's story that much more interesting, knowing that Quinn was still out there as a threat, and knowing the connection that he had with Quinn prior to him kind of breaking away and kind of realizing a new path for his life. I think Quinn being in that story would have been really fascinating. And I also think it would have been really fascinating to see Quinn deal with the Widow as she evolves and changes as a person. I'm telling you, they could have kept him in the show. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But the reason that they did transition him out, everybody, is because they did want to move the story forward. And I get that. I understand that. All I'm saying is I think that they could have kept him in, and I think it would have still really been interesting. So I wanted to share that with you to see what your thoughts are on that. Let's get some conversation going on about that in the comments, because I'd love to know whether you think that the show would have been fine keeping him in, or maybe you think it was a good transition to bring him out of the show and really propel the show in a different direction, focusing on Pilgrim and the Dark Gift and Azra. So I gotta say this, man. Just bear with me, please, because man, I don't understand. I don't understand what AMC was thinking. I kind of don't understand what AMC was thinking. I don't know how they canceled the show. There are tons of post-apocalyptic shows that are out today. A big one now that a lot of people are talking about is C on Apple Plus. Every time I see a post-apocalyptic show, it makes me think of Into the Badlands, and then it just makes me put that show against ITB, and you just gotta say to yourself, it doesn't measure up. The gem, the jewel that ITB was fantastic. And now with all these different shows with kind of that post-apocalyptic setting, there is nothing still, even today, that is as unique as Into the Badlands within that genre. And I will never forget this. During a conversation with Daniel Wu, when he said that he thinks that ITB maybe was before its time. Maybe he was right, because there's nothing that has come after it that has even been close to it. ITB is like the gold standard. And if you disagree with me, please let me know. ITB is the gold standard for post-apocalyptic storytelling in such a unique fashion. And I'm not even going to get into all the aspects of how it's unique, because we could talk about that. Like I could roll down the list, not even touching the uniqueness and the dynamism of the martial arts aspect. I could talk about other aspects of that show that set it apart from almost anything we've seen on TV, and I don't mean anything we've seen on TV. Bring the show back. I'm gonna have to take another shower after this. I'm sweating up in here. Anyway, I just wanted to put that in front of you guys. I know that I am supposed to have the video out for Watchmen today. I'm working on it. I will get it out before the next episode of Watchmen rolls, so we can get into that. And anyway, we're going to talk about it on Sunday. We are going to be live on Sunday. We're going to be ready to roll. We are having a live stream on Sunday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, by the way. Don't miss it, because it's an amazing time with the Dark Side community. You will love it if you've never been there. So make sure you join us, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. All right, that's all I got, man. Let's meet in the comments. Let's get some conversation going on about this. Make sure that you like comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, or hit the all button so YouTube can't decide what they're going to show you. Let's get some discussion going on about this. Please share this video as well if you had a good time. Alrighty, I have spoken. Took that from The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is awesome, by the way. All right, guys. Peace.